Hi and welcome back. In today's video, I'll be showing you some tips on getting better recorded sounds with the Kemper Profiler. If you're new to the channel, I'd love it if you subscribe and click that bell so you get notified when I have new videos up. And do leave questions or comments if you have them. Now, with a lot of profiles that you can get for the Kemper Profiler, most of them sound really good out of the box, so to speak. But to really fit into a mix perfectly, there are some settings that you'll want to tweak a little bit. What I'll always start out with is the definition control. You find that one by holding the amplifier button up top for a little bit. This control is very handy for tweaking how bright or dull you want your guitar to sound. For example, with the Strat that I'm using now, you'll often want that to be quite bright sounding. But with a humbucker, you may want to turn that down a bit. I'll now run through a few different settings there. Once I found a good sweet spot for the definition control, I usually then go on to tweak the EQ for the main amp sound. On most profiles, what I often have to do is pull down the lows a bit and add a bit more mids. I know a lot of metal players don't like to do that, but trust me, that's what you really want to do to fit in the mix. I usually don't add a lot of high-end for studio work, but in a live setting you may want to do that, as your guitar then will have to fight with both vocals and cymbals and high frequency stuff like that. Next thing we have is a high and low shift in the cabinet menu. Next thing I'll often do is insert the Studio EQ effect in one of the slots after the amp. And what I'll usually do there is adjust a little bit in the mid frequencies if I have too much or too little of some of the frequencies there, and I'll use the low and high cuts. A lot of profiles tend to have a lot of information above 10 kHz, which you really don't need for your guitar to sound good. So I'll usually have a high cut at about 10 kHz and a low cut somewhere between 60 and 100, depending on what the rest of the mix has. And if you need to adjust even more EQ, you have EQ sections for both the main and monitor outputs. And you can find that in the output menu in the top right corner of the profiler. The monitor EQ is very cool for when you're doing live gigs and you're using a cab on stage for monitoring. So you can tweak that depending on what speakers you're using, and it's completely independent of the main outs, which will usually go to front of house. Those are some of the things I usually go to when I need to tweak a profile to fit in the mix. You also have a couple of other controls that I haven't mentioned now that you can tweak as well. Both of them are in the amplifier section, the clarity control as well as direct mix. You can tweak those as well to get an even better guitar sound. Anyways, hope that was helpful. Remember to subscribe, leave comments, questions, and I'll see you in the next video.